A young astronaut named Rhea returns to consciousness amid a devastating scene. She finds herself in a space station that has landed on an alien planet called Ash by the first explorers. The problem is that her memory has been completely erased. She can't even remember her own name. A strange mark crosses her forehead, and horrible dreams begin to appear in her head. Frightening voices sound through the corridors, accusing her of bad things that she doesn't understand. The ship's computer warnings make very loud noises, showing that there are serious dangers. Rhea needs to get up and try to get the base's power working again. As she walks through the metal corridors, her breathing becomes strange when she sees red marks scattered across the walls. In the station's main corridor, Rhea finds the first body. A man is sitting against the wall, dead, with a knife buried in his chest. Frightened, she pulls the knife from the body and continues exploring the station with her flashlight. The station's workshop is soaked in blood. Lights flash incessantly, revealing another body on the floor. Rhea pushes the corpse, revealing a deformed face covered in blood. Hey! What would you do if you woke up in a space station without memory, discovering that all your companions were brutally murdered? The movie I'm going to summarize is called Ash. It's a science fiction film that mixes horror and psychological suspense. It's one of the most intense films about isolation and survival in space that I've ever watched. The ending left me in shock, but I warn you, if you watch it without being 100% focused, you'll finish without understanding anything. That's why I invite you to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and leave a like to receive the best recaps. Rhea manages to open a door that reveals the station's exterior. She goes out and is faced with a desolate landscape wrapped in fog. On the ground, she finds another body wearing a spacesuit with a broken face mask. The rocky landscape around is illuminated by lightning that cuts through the sky, creating a terrifying atmosphere. In the middle of the fog, she sees a distant silhouette. When she waves, the figure mirrors her movements perfectly. When she raises both hands, the shadow does the same. Frightened, Rhea backs away and almost falls off a cliff. Looking up, she sees a pink and purple sky that resembles broken glass. A bright light approaches through space. Rhea grabs her throat, coughing with difficulty breathing. The air on the planet is not safe for humans. She crawls back to the station. A computerized voice announces, "Critical oxygen levels compromised." Inside the station, Rhea has disturbing flashbacks. She remembers sitting with the crew during a happier moment. A red-haired woman smiles at her saying, "We'll thrive here." The crew members make jokes and eat Brian's baked beans. They toast to Brian raising their bowls. During the conversation, they question about their first steps on the planet. The group thinks Rhea deserves the honor of being the first person to step on this new world, since it's the first discovery in years of searching for a planet with air that humans can breathe. In real life now, Rhea arrives at the medical care location and treats a wound on her neck with a technological band-aid. Then, she goes to the bathroom, trying to understand who she is and what happened to get her here. Exploring more rooms, she finds one with the name Kevin Overton on the door. Sitting there, she flips through a notebook full of mathematical notes and graphs about oxygen saturation and atmospheric pressure. Rhea finds a video of herself examining a plant, confirming that she was part of the scientific team. Suddenly, the protection system shows that someone is moving in the first area. With the knife in hand, Rhea goes to the signal location and attacks a person wearing an astronaut suit who is entering through the special door. The stranger speaks her name and asks her to stop. Seeing that she hesitates, he says he's Brian. Brian explains that he received a distress signal from Rhea, saying that Clark had a psychotic break and attacked the crew. He asks if it was Clark who did that to Rhea's face. Rhea confesses that she can only remember small pieces, some loose images, and the attack the woman made. She has no idea what's going on, who she really is, or where she is. Brian turns on a Dr. Robot and says that his mission and the spaceship are named 7F. He sees that Rhea's memory has been completely erased. Even the memories of Earth had disappeared. The woman lies on an examination tape, and the doctor robot begins to scan her entire body while Brian tells her that the 6 similar trips that happened before didn't work out. Now, all the hope of Earth's people is in this 7th attempt, because our planet's resources are almost running out. If they manage to make it work, they'll be able to make this new world their permanent home. At this moment, the doctor robot's devices enter the wound on Rhea's head. The medical robot diagnoses brain swelling caused by trauma, explaining Rhea's memory loss and fevers. It applies a medical patch to her neck and sutures her wounds. During the night, Rhea is awakened by sounds and imagines someone entering her room, but the door is closed. The next day, she helps Brian put bodies in bags outside the base. Observing space, she sees a satellite orbiting the planet. Rhea expresses concern about Clark still being alive out there, possibly infected by something that made her lose her sanity. They discuss whether they should look for her or leave. If she's really alive, her oxygen must be running out. She needs to find a safe place soon because this planet's sandstorms are very dangerous. Brian tells her to forget what happened. The station is running only on emergency power, maintaining just the basics, and even the oxygen is almost gone. So they have to leave the planet right now. Everything else, including what caused the disaster, doesn't matter anymore. The most important thing is to get back to space, a difficult thing, because the ship's path has to align perfectly with the vessel's orbit. Worried about Rhea's condition, Brian notices she's getting increasingly tired. She also feels very tired and decides to rest for a bit. Rhea has more disturbing flashbacks and applies another medical patch when the previous one loses effect. She finds bloody scissors and remembers someone being stabbed with. Soon after, a strong sandstorm hits the space base. While watching what's happening, Rhea notices that her memories are returning little by little and tells Brian about it. Suddenly, the ship's computer warns that there's an opening in the vessel and the oxygen level is critical. Putting on their space protection suits, what's left of the team goes out to look for where the hole is while sirens alert that oxygen is running out dangerously. When they arrive at the emergency location, they see signs that someone or something passed through there. Hearing a strange sound, Rhea follows it and finds a crack in the ship's wall. But when she welds the opening, she sees Clark's distorted and frightening face. Using all her strength, she fights against this terrible vision and manages to fix the problem before returning to the quarters. Brian imagines that Clark may have caught some germ that made her mind sick, similar to rabies disease. Even so, Rhea feels that there's something wrong with the story he tells. She really wants to discover the whole truth and find Clark, but Brian reminds her that they lost 30% of the air they need and the next chance to leave will only appear in 5 more hours. When Rhea doesn't change her mind, he warns that any delay could cause both of them to die without air. All the work of their teams would be thrown away. He says he doesn't know what happened to Clark, but guarantees they'll find out everything. Alone, Rhea reads Kevin's diary. She picks up Kevin's uniform and smells it. In a dream, she realizes she's in the middle of a field full of flowers, wearing a beautiful dress and adorned with different jewels. Out of nowhere, the vision changes. Kevin screams in pain, looking at the knife in his chest. Rhea wakes up, startled, and finds and restarts a drone, watching the recordings it made. The video shows the team walking in spacesuits, exploring the planet and discovering artificial structures. Soon, the space travelers find where the strange things that Brian had seen from orbit come from. They discover it's a giant system of underground tunnels full of shining objects that nobody knows. The astronauts realize that these are machines that are artificially creating the planet's air. When Davis throws a stone into the tunnel, it ignites with a burning green glow and is thrown back, shattering his helmet mask and killing him instantly. At this moment, Brian enters and, seeing the tablet in her hands, unwittingly accepts that the entire mission had disappeared. Rhea asks for complete answers. After all this time spent almost going crazy, he knew the planet was being prepared for people to live on. He says his task was especially to watch over her and insists that even with her memory loss, she continues to be the same person deep down. Therefore, his priority is to escape first and then solve everything. Unexpectedly, Rhea tells him that she killed everyone without understanding why and that she can't leave the station. She explains that when the medical patches stop working, more memories return. Brian refuses to wait another 2 hours for her to completely recover her memory. Their task is to save humanity. They found technology capable of changing entire planets. This can change the future of their entire species. Thus, completing the mission must continue to be their top priority. In 2 hours and 39 minutes, they must leave no matter what happens. Rhea has no choice but to obey. She begins to gather her things when Brian appears and changes her patch, promising to return before departure. After he leaves, she removes the patch and is taken by her longest memory so far. In the memories, the captain violently attacks Rhea. She defends herself with medical instruments, finally stabbing him repeatedly with scissors until she kills him. Rhea awakens and searches for Brian, discovering that it wasn't just Clark who got infected. Everyone was infected. She finds a spacesuit figure with an alien face. Running to the maintenance room, she grabs a blowtorch and hides in the ventilation ducts. She finds Brian's mutilated body in the ducts. Clark, wearing a spacesuit, attacks Rhea. During the brutal fight, Rhea uses the blowtorch to set Clark on fire, but she continues attacking even while in flames. Rhea finally kills Clark by drowning her, filling her helmet with water from a shower. The medical robot examines Clark's body. Cause of death: drowning. Time of death: -18 hours. No infection found. Rhea realizes that Clark had already been dead for 18 hours but was still moving. At this moment, the computer warns that it's time to leave for space. Rhea throws another black bag onto the empty ground outside and looks at a star shining in the sky. The big ship still waits for the team in space. Returning to the base, she tries to start the departure process. When she can't, she sticks 2 medicines on her neck at the same time and thinks about Brian. The machine examines his body and says he died 51 hours ago, which shouldn't be possible. Suddenly, the protection system shows strange movement and finds something unknown alive. Rhea searches the ship again and finds Brian alive. Without waiting, Brian promises to show something that will make her understand everything. Through flashbacks, we discover the true story. The team found creatures similar to sea anemones that infected the base's electrical system. His memories take her back to the moment when the space travelers return to the base with something new they found in one of the ship's parts. Rhea hears her friends talking about how something unknown alive took over the base and was probably studying them, waiting for the right moment to attack. When someone suggests leaving the base right away to save the mission, Rhea gets nervous. They had found what millions of space travelers only dreamed of: life from other planets. Moreover, this discovery could help people live on other planets. Humanity could now live on new worlds without fear of dangerous air. Wearing protective clothing, she enters the contaminated part and takes a sample. The study shows it's a technique made of self-copying beings. Suddenly, the sample leaves the container and attacks a team member. Rhea watches in horror as a thing with octopus-like arms buries itself in his body through his nose. The captain's face twists and he tries to kill her. The rest of the group runs when she screams. Clark tries to pull Rhea away while Kevin looks at the attacked crew member, who suddenly attacks him. In a desperate fight, Kevin kills the captain, but the being that lives inside immediately passes to Kevin's body. Now Kevin attacks Rhea. Clark, still in her suit, tries to protect her, but Kevin hits her hard until Brian appears standing in shock. Kevin turns his attention to Brian, killing him, thus giving time for Rhea to put a helmet on Clark and send her to the escape pod. Without waiting, Kevin speaks to Rhea, and she apologizes for what she's going to do. Seeing Kevin transform in front of her, she sticks a blade in his chest. The creature exits his body and enters Rhea through the wound in her head. Rhea feels the presence of an otherworldly mind inside her. The computer warns about activity from the being that lives inside. A red organism from another planet pulses inside her head. Rhea realizes she can hear its voice. It says the planet is its and swears not to let humanity take over. They want to make Rhea part of their army. She refuses to join the group of beings from another world, takes off her medicines, and runs to the medical room. Rhea programs the medical robot to remove the alien parasite from her head. The surgery is successful, but the parasite enters Brian, who returns infected to attack her. Suddenly, Brian transforms, octopus-like arms coming out of his head, and he jumps on top of her. Rhea stabs him with a blade, but the creature continues attacking. She grabs a blowtorch and burns him. The base catches fire. Dressed in protective clothing, Rhea exits the burning ship. Arriving at the escape pod, she turns on the engines and heads toward the main ship. As she approaches the orbital space station, she has happy flashbacks of good moments with her crew. But her hopes are destroyed when she sees that the orbital station is also covered in alien tentacles. And so the film ends. What rating would you give this movie? This ending makes it clear that the alien infection has spread beyond the planet, suggesting that humanity may be doomed. For those who didn't understand, Brian was dead all along. But the alien that was inside Rhea's body manipulated her so that she saw Brian as if he were alive, to make her leave the alien planet and return to Earth, taking the alien with her as a spy, to spy on Earth and someday attack. Don't forget to activate the bell to be notified of new summaries. So until next time,